think I'm gonna get me some tutti fucking fruity.
Tutti fucking fruity, that sounds good.
Tutti fucking fruity.
Shut up.
Tutti fucking fruity.
Ice Cream Man is a very strange movie. Hyperviolent, oversaturated to the point of looking almost unreal. It has the candy-colored aesthetic of Pushing Daisies mixed with the dreamy, slightly off-kilter texture of Harmony Korine Spring Breakers.
Spring break. Spring break forever.
Children's music plays while kids murder adults in broad daylight. And the longer it goes on, the more I started wondering whether the whole thing was ever meant to be taken completely seriously. Visually, the film commits hard. Everything is too bright, too clean, too saturated. The suburban setting looks like a children's book that got infected. Then the violence arrives and it's proper practical work. Limbs, blood, and messy effects done the old real way. That part is genuinely good, and horror audiences who still care about practical effects will notice. But the core engine of the movie is simple and quickly becomes repetitive. Kids in this sun-drenched neighborhood keep killing unsuspecting adults, while children's songs play and the kids themselves laugh and laugh. The first couple of times, it lands as shocking and darkly funny. By the fifth or sixth variation, you're mostly watching the same joke on loop. And there's barely any traditional plot to speak of. The film is far more interested in tone, set pieces, and that specific warped atmosphere than in building narrative momentum.
Yeah. Weird.
And once you accept that, the experience makes more sense, even if it still feels thin. A noticeable chunk of the early online reaction seems offended by the coarse humor.
Gay!
I don't really understand why. This is exactly the kind of mean, juvenile, deliberately tasteless comedy that used to be allowed inside horror. The people getting upset about it now are the same reason we barely get real comedies anymore. I myself laughed out loud more than once in the theater. The movie is entertaining in a weird, off-balance way. It never pretends to be elevated or meaningful. It feels like someone decided to make a bright, nasty little exploitation film and simply refused to sand the edges down. Which brings us to the part that feels especially dishonest. A lot of the loudest and negative reactions right now aren't really about the movie's actual flaws. The repetition, the thin story, the gamble on the tone. They're about the name on the poster, Eli Roth. These are often the same people who will praise the Terrifier films for going extremely hard on practical gore and mean-spirited violence. The moment that same appetite shows up under Roth's name, the standards suddenly change. It becomes the worst movie ever, not because the craft is uniquely bad, but because the tribal signal has flipped. And that's not film criticism. That's just online loyalty tests and altar calls.
You know, I know what you're doing right now, and I don't like it. So why don't you just shut your trap before I put my foot in it?
Roth has always been a polarizing figure. Some of that is earned. His film can be crude, self-conscious, and uneven. But the practical effects work here is solid, the violence is committed, and the strange tonal choice is at least intentional. And you can dislike the movie for legitimate reasons. Calling it garbage purely because of who directed it while giving a free pass to similar extremes elsewhere is just selective outrage. The more I sat with it, the more I wondered whether Ice Cream Man was ever pitched as a conventional horror film with a straight face. Parts of it feel like an elaborate bit that somehow got financed. The hyper-saturated look, the children's music under murder, the complete lack of traditional dramatic stakes, it all points towards something closer to a deliberate joke or provocation than a serious genre entry. And that strangeness is both the movie's biggest strength and its clearest limitation. When the tone clicks, it feels unique. When it doesn't, it just feels like the same gag repeated over and over again. Ice Cream Man is entertaining, strange, and probably not for anyone who needs clean dramatic structure or restrained humor. It's a bright, mean little movie that feels more like a sustained bit than a traditional studio horror film. I had a good time with it in the theater, but your mileage will vary hard. And that's okay. Just try to judge the actual movie on screen instead of the name attached to it. What did you think of the movie? Fun weirdness or just annoying repetition? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the Kobold's Cave.
Listen, there is no fucking ice cream in your fucking future. Delicious.